Hello, everybody, and welcome to my listeners on Yerg's Radio at yergsradio.com and on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. We are going to be covering some breaking news right now that is just coming out. And so let me get the updates that I have so far. Apparently, there has been a plane crash. It's an American Eagle coming out of DCA, Ronald Reagan, Washington Washington Reagan National, that has collided with from what I understand, a Blackhawk military plane. I'm getting reports that there have been 14 people retrieved from the water, but I'm not sure their status or their condition. So bear with me. We're going to start going breaking news here. I'm going to start getting some information, some intel in. We're going to start going to some sites. For those of you that don't know, I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area. I'm familiar with a plane into the 14th Street Bridge, which occurred in the 80s when I was young. So it'll be a nice PTS day tomorrow. So that was an event I remember as a child listening to on the scanner. And with that being said, we're going to try, and let's see if I can pull this up and pull up some audio from what's going on. We're going to pull up flight radar. We're going to pull up some other things and see what kind of data and information we can get. If anybody wants to chime in, you're more than welcome to join the chat. Please let me know if you have some news, or you can ship the news to me at Sportcat at protonmail.com if you don't want to put it in the chat, and I will get it on the air. With that being said, this is a tragedy that we have to get to the bottom of and find out what's going on. So let's see. Let me first off try and go to DC's. No, that's not the one I wanted. Try and go to the Metropolitan Airport. And somebody let me know if you're hearing audio in the chat. I believe I've got one listener, one viewer currently, and I'm going to be pulling up more stuff. Okay. All right. Ross, I know you are listening. Can you hear the audio from the scanner? Okay. Okay. So what we're listening to, if everybody let me know if you can hear this. What we're listening to, we're gonna okay. I want to take some of this out. I'm going to try and filter some of this out. You're also hearing Dulles. I'm trying to filter some of this out. And Ross, I sent you a link to join the studio because I know you have some expertise on this as well. And we're going to go to Fox 5 DC, and we're going to show, no, we can't do it that way. I'm going to show some of their footage. I'm going to share their screen. Fox 5 DC is Washington, DC. is their local Fox. And I got to figure out which screen I'm sharing. All right, it's this one. All right, share. Everybody bear with me here. I'm doing this on the fly. All right, so what you're looking at, this is from the Virginia side, I believe, looking over. Maybe, actually, I believe they're looking from the Maryland and Virginia side. There's looks like there's police boats in the water. And when this occurred, and I need to go back and try and figure out how to filter this. Let's see if that will cover it. No, that's not going to cover it. Hey, Ross. So, sorry to have you join under these circumstances, but I wanted to have you in here because I know you also have a pretty intricate knowledge of the way things occur around the Washington, D.C. region when it comes to aircraft, having your background.
Sorry, I had to turn a mic on. Sorry about that. Yeah, happy to join. I didn't mean to make it sound early in our text like I was breaking this news to you. I mean, clearly you knew what I was talking about. And yeah, I figured this is what you were going live about. So, yeah, hearing you as you first came on and you announced that it was a Blackhawk collision, that's the first time hearing that. So, I mean, that kind of sounds scary.
Yes, very much so.
When I first heard about a small plane going down in the Potomac, I didn't really think too much of it because, you know, I'm down here in Florida where the water's cold but survivable. And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, it's January and that water's probably icy, if not in some cases possibly ice. And
yeah. Can you hear that in the background, the scanner, when they're talking?
I can't hear it here. I was hearing it on the air when I was listening to Yerg's radio, but I'm not hearing it now. Okay. I'm wondering if it's because wherever you're using Streamlabs is perhaps the same browser that you're using the scanner.
Could be. Billy, in the comments, can you hear that? Billy's in the chat. He's saying EarthCam is showing the collision. Billy, can you hear the audio? Okay. I have more windows open than I know what to do with here, so I'm working.
Yeah, I'm closing a bunch of unnecessary things out as well.
Yeah, I wasn't going to okay, so they're using
man from Rehab 413.
That was Fairfax. So Fairfax is obviously there. Well, everybody is there.
Yeah. So I saw my friend, shout out to our friend Jim Shea, who is with the military and intelligence community in DC. He put one of the like flight tracker screenshots. And from what I remember of it, it looked like it was over like the in between Virginia and DC part of the Potomac, as opposed to between the north-south approach between Virginia and Maryland, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a timestamp and go back and see if I can get initial dispatch. I'm going to start here.
Copy that. Total count 8. Umar, ops. Go ahead. Hey, are you available to pick up Selena from 141?
This is at 10:18 Eastern.
CAN 422. Box 30101. Mass casualty alarm. Runway 33 DCA. Runway 33 DCA. On channel.
Okay, so I'm going
Hey,
back
Charlie.
in time.
23. You can set that alarm. Everything up with
They
it.
said the airplane had 60 passengers, 4 crew members.
22,
Helicopter
Pete.
had 3.
Command from EMS 381.
23. You can set that alarm. Drop 14. Everything up with it.
Okay,
All right, so
EMS 381. Got multiple units hitting at gate golf. They said they're trying to get to the command post. Just need to know where you need these units, and I'll escort them there.
Every unit should be staging at 301 right now. Who specifically is going to move?
Give me 1 second. It's a command officer of sorts. Give me 1 second.
okay, this is the
Okay, anything
beginning of
else
the
coordinate
incident
with the
we're
officer of
listening
engine
to.
303?
It's going to be an Airbus 319. A319, copy.
Oh, geez.
Commander, you calling engine 303?
Negative. I was telling EMS 381 to coordinate operations there with you.
Copy that. Also, we are now in service as engine 301 Bravo.
Okay,
Yes,
so you have engine 301 Bravo, medic 301 Bravo, ambulance 420.
Billy says that it occurred at 8:50. So let me go back in time a little bit further here and see. I want the initial dispatch to see, but then I heard him say an Airbus. That's not good news.
Yeah.
Andy is on my other radio here. I'm trying to get that radio brought up so I can talk on it. He's been listening since the beginning of it, so he would have some intel for me as well.
Oh, so I'm wrong. It is in the north-south stretch of the river, which is the wider portion. That's not good
No.
because that's also faster flowing too.
Yes.
Ugh.
Why is my radio not changing channels? And Billy, I'm going back in time here on dispatch. And oh yeah, they put an alert 3 out. Okay. Okay, so there's several different types of alert 1, alert 2, alert 3. Alert 1 is a plane is in trouble with a mechanical issue. Alert 2 is a plane is coming in, there's a problem. And alert 3 is an aircraft down. So we clearly have an alert 3 in the Potomac River. All right, so I'm going back in time here. Yeah, I'm finding. All right, so this is 8:49.
01 NCR.
Battalion Chief 301. Engine 301. Foam 310. Foam 311. Medic 301. Fire Boat 2. Safety 322. Box 30101. Aircraft crash. Runway 33 DCA. Runway 33 DCA. On channel 3 left.
All right, so that was them dispatching the initial units.
Respond to runway 33 for aircraft alert 3. Respond to runway 33 for aircraft alert 3 for helicopter crash.
30 and low. Nothing approaching.
12, can you repeat that? It came in low.
21 to K95 will be on scene shortly.
4.
12, I caution.
All units responding to the alert. We have to cross all runway taxiways.
Copy. No 4, you direct.
10-4.
2050.
So there's no
Buddy,
time.
can you get the location again?
Runway 33.
Yeah.
The 2 and 3 video responded.
Airport 5, okay.
So they've got people coming from Dulles.
I know. Do you understand those diplomacy? I don't know.
Okay.
10-5 negative response. I don't know them at the area.
Copy, Adam 28.
4 going notify 3. Easy response. That's 5. No. Veteran. Copy, stand by.
Copy, 21. 3 North 3.
Fire Station 301 units use all taxiways and runways to get to the location.
So they've shut the airport
Four,
down
okay.
completely,
Copy.
obviously.
1, the taxi 301. 31 ish, right?
Copy.
510
222-4685.
222-4685.
301 units deploy all boats. So, engine 301, go get both calls from 3B. Deploy boat 375.
Please don't go in. And
Battalion 301, Airport Fire.
Battalion 301.
Centipede. Towers reporting a CRJ and a helicopter crash into the Potomac River.
United crew is in.
Airport 5, okay.
RHCC has been notified. Pre-alert. Fireboat 3 responding. Engine 301, the battalion 301 set off 2 for a crew for a airboat.
Okay. Did anybody get visual on where the actual plane and helicopter is?
We're checking now. We're going to launch a V-haul with our second part of our crew.
Okay. Airport 5 from Battalion 301. Have DC Harbor come on 3 Lima. Reach out to Fairfax, Prince George's County,
Alexandria,
and have them deploy
Arlington.
boats to our area as well.
Some passengers.
24.
24.
24, need to respond to Alpha 22 for force open door alarm.
Okay, okay.
Battalion 301, foam 310. We're at the approach end at 33. We can't see anything. You want us to put a boat in the water?
24, it's going to be a
Top 6.
Go fast.
Be advised, 1533 was closed on frequency.
Airport 5, okay.
Battalion 301, foam 310. We're in the area. We don't see anything. You want us to get 376 in the water?
Both boats, 376, 378 if you have the crew.
All right, just being explicit, foam 310 is going to be removing its crew, assisting getting boats in the water.
That's fine.
Fireboat 3 command.
Fireboat 3, go.
We're passing Hayes Point right now. Do you have a good location for us?
We do not have a good location at this time. We have one airboat underway currently searching the area.
Okay, we don't have a last known.
Last known was off the approach end of our runway 33. So I would say maybe a half mile from the Haynes Point building.
Copy that. We're at Hayes Point right now. 1 mile south inbound, correct?
That's correct. A mile south from the Haynes Point building.
So it's coming in.
No 4. We received an update from fire. They said a CRJ helicopter crashed into the Potomac River.
10-4. Has DC been notified?
Currently no visual.
Report fire from Fireboat 201.
Good.
We received notification of the crash in the river through DC Mike 1. Can you go ahead and dispatch us requested CAD through CAD to CAD?
From this Fireboat 1.
They're notifying Fairfax and D County. We can notify DC.
10-4. That is, it's going to be the area by Dangerfield, or it's going to be north.
Still getting further.
Copy.
You know, what's such a surprising thing,
Copy.
having grown up in the area.
I'll head over to Gravelly Point.
Copy.
Oh, I know right where that is.
Copy.
Operations Officer 6, be advised, is going to be at the North Boathouse.
24, you can disregard. We just got a call for it.
Even if it is,
Go ahead and show Arizona Post. I'm itching to know them.
24, direct.
Airport 5 from Battalion.
Option up 6. Looks like Harbor Patrol is out right now.
Airport 5 from Battalion 301.
Battalion 301.
we have underway conducting a search for the reported Air 3. We're deploying OTV all boats at this time as well. DC Harbor is up on 3 Lima. I'll go ahead and establish the Potomac River Command. At this time, we have not located the crash. Reported by the tower to be in the Potomac.
And so everybody that
Off the
knows
approach end of runway 33.
this is at 8:55.
Battalion 201 establishing Potomac River Command, 2055.
April 5, go ahead and reach out to Park Police and have Eagle 1 and Fairfax see if they can deploy helicopters to assist with the search as well.
Copy that. Harbor PD is on the river.
This one's the Cancun.
Command, copy.
All right.
DC Harbor's en route,
Thank you.
2056.
Any souls on board?
Not as of yet.
And you did get my request for Prince George's County and Fax County rentals as well, correct?
That's correct. We're noting them now.
Medic 301, you on 3 Lima, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, do not get underway. I'm going to need you to stand by.
So we are still 3 hours into this incident, and it is still a rescue operation, is what I'm hearing from local media.
Alerted as well. Copy, thank you.
37 slot 5.
Yeah, I got something too. If you haven't heard,
Around the approaching.
it's American Airlines flight
Last unit.
5342.
Chief, I'm just trying to confirm
Oh,
at 375 is on.
Go ahead. I'll pause it for a second.
Yeah, it's American Airlines 5342 inbound from Wichita, Kansas, was about
Jesus.
400 feet and at a speed of as of altitude and at a speed of about 140 miles an hour, and it suffered a rapid loss of altitude over the Potomac River, according to data from its radio transponder. It's a Bombardier CRJ 701 twin engine, 20-year-old plane. Can carry up to 70 70 passengers. It had 60 with 4 crew.
Yeah, that's what I just heard from local media. I also heard from local media that they have found souls on board that are still restrained in their seat underwater.
Oh,
Which-
that's fast.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was going to say, I paused it. We were still at 850 something, or maybe a little after, or a little closer to 9. Once, this area seems like such a large area, but I grew up there. I used to go watch planes take off and land from that particular runway, I believe, where they were coming in. And it's not as big as you think, but at night, dark water, you have a 14th Street Bridge on one side, you have just Black Potomac River on the other side, and they try and light the area up as much as they can, but when this incident initially happens, as a responder, you're going quick, you're going dark, and you don't know what you're going to. A lot of times we will get calls for alerts, and I know this from working in Atlanta airports, and having been on aircraft, and the plane will land safely. So even if you respond, a lot of times it's not what you think it is. But in this case, it's turned out that it is an actual plane in the water. So
It's on around the shoreline.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead,
reading
sir.
what I found on Yahoo News, and this is ugly. The tower changed runways at the last minute, and there was a military helicopter in the flight path of the new runway, and they reached out to each other, both aircraft, to confirm that they've got visual contact. And just as they tried to confirm it with the helicopter, they lost contact with the jet. And they tried to say to pass around behind the one, pass around behind the other, and that didn't come to fruition.
Well, like you said, it was traveling at how fast?
140 miles an hour.
There's not a lot of time
Yeah.
at the, they used to show us in our training, if it's a dot, you're going to be on that little dot in about 6 seconds. In other words, if you can see a little dot, that you're going to be on that little dot in a few seconds. Let's see. I'm going to try and also bring up another screen here. Window.
Did you see that aerial photo that it's actually a shot of the flight aware, screenshot of the flight aware?
No. Well, yes, I have seen an image of the flight aware. So we're on Fox News right now. Sorry, Ross. I know it's your favorite channel.
We'll live.
Well, right now they were showing when I came in, Fairfax helicopter was circling overhead. And yeah, somebody had already sent me, God, I was getting so many notifications. Yeah, somebody had already sent me the flight aware from the helicopters circling overhead. I believe that was the Park Police that they sent me. Yeah. No, it was multiple. It was all three. It was Eagle 1 and Fairfax 1 and 2 overhead. And then somebody's already sent me a picture of the plane. Yeah, that is such a... Go ahead, what?
Sent you a picture of the plane.
Not the actual crash, a picture of what it...
Type of plane that it is, yeah.
Was, yeah. So apparently they've pulled 14 souls on boards, or 14 from the 60 souls on board out. I don't know the condition. In the day that the plane crashed in the 80s, and I was up there, we had been in art class, and they dismissed school early, and because of the blizzard. And of course, history has now shown us what caused that was the ice had not been properly removed from the plane. Well, it had been removed, but it had sat on the runway for too long and needed to go back out or go back for de-icing, but they tried to take off and they came down on the 14th Street Bridge.
I remember that.
I had actually been at home, and as you know, I'm a huge scanner buff nerd, and I heard the actual initial dispatch. And so, yeah, it was, it was, that's why I said tomorrow will be a bad PTSD day for me because this will bring back a lot of memories. I was an explorer with the fire department, and we went down there 2 days later. It may not have been 2 days. We went down there later, and were serving coffee to the responders. And at that time, we didn't have all the communications and all the things that we do now.
Right.
And even now, we're still limited because, as you were hearing me play back the audio, they're trying to get everybody onto the channels. And once they get people, well, first you have to get people responding. So you have an initial dispatch. In this case, it would be the Washington, D.C. Aircraft Authority would be who is dispatched. And then once they realize that they have a plane in the water, or as you heard, it first came out a helicopter in the water, that's a total different response. They would probably not call for other aircraft or other support, but once they realized it was a larger craft, they're calling on Washington, D.C. They're calling from Fairfax. They're calling for Alexandria. They're calling for Arlington. They're calling the Park Police, Prince George's. There's probably ambulances as far away as the other side of the state of Maryland that will start rolling that way. You have to get all of these people coordinated, and You have to have the operations on one channel, the rescue on another, the EMS on another one, the boat people on another. You have to have all these different channels, and you have to have communications. And so now you're dealing with a mass casualty incident with possibly, in this case, up to 100 people, but you have hundreds of responders from a very large area coming in, and you have to organize them and get them together. So it's quite the task. The dispatchers, a good dispatcher in this, it's a rough day. Then of course they start sending the ancillary things out. They will send out a mobile incident commands. I'm sure there's probably one from probably the Secret Service mobile incident command pod, probably the Park Police, definitely Fairfax, DC. And then after they do that, they start sending out another command unit that is nothing but communications centers, probably from the Pentagon would probably be the first that I would say, and then probably DC or Fairfax, because they have large enough resources to have mobile command dispatch units. It's basically a big, for lack of better words, tractor and trailer fire truck with nothing but computers and radios and cameras. So it's a nightmare trying to get that many people coordinated. And then you have to, once you get the command, for anybody that's not familiar with emergency services, once you have the first commander on scene, whether it's the guy riding the first fire truck or the chief riding in the car, he has to take command. But then once other people start showing up, you have to have a point, a set spot, and they pre-plan these things. And thank you, Billy. I'll get that in just a second. You have to have a point where you can get the chief from Fairfax, the chief from Alexandria, the chief from DC, the police, the Secret Service, because this is, as you say, Ross, in DC, like every third car is a police vehicle of some type.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah. So, and in an incident like this, I don't care if you're a police officer, an EMT, paramedic, fireman, and you're in that area, you're going to come. And so you have to get organized and you have to communicate. And when I said we're 3 hours into this incident and we're still recovering people, it's because this is not an incident that you get on scene, you drag a hose to the front door, you kick the front door open, you spray water on the fire. It's not that type of thing. It's a much more complex. And then once you start affecting, we call it affecting rescues, you have to have a triage area to bring the bodies or the victims, and you have to triage them, and they either get airlifted, which I doubt is probably at this point not really, well, there's lots of medical helicopters aside from Fairfax and Eagle in the area. So that may be in the military right there. So there may be air medical helicopter or evacuations, but one hospital can't take them all. So you have to have an officer calling Fairfax, calling Arlington, calling Alexandria, calling DC, calling Baltimore, saying, I'm sending you 4, I'm sending you 4, I'm sending you 3. Because at the same time, further out in this incident, you have to have the hospitals notified because they have 1 hour to bring up their emergency response team. And when you notify and activate that, the hospitals have 1 hour to bring in pretty much everything from an orthodontist to a podiatrist to a trauma surgeon. 1 hour, trauma centers, that's what they do. They bring in those people within 1 hour, everybody. But you can't overwhelm, and then they have to bring in extra staff, but you can't overwhelm one hospital with that. And that was the problem with the 14th Street Bridge incident in the 80s. Was the DC was blocked, Alexandria was blocked because of the blizzard and the crash. People were walking on either side to hospitals and they were overwhelmed, and then the fire departments on either end couldn't get to each other. Let's see.
Well, that one took out part of the bridge too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Billy, where did you send that to me? Did you send it to my email? Me.
There's a YouTube video right before that. I also sent you one in the private chat. I forget what I sent now, actually. A still photo from the Kennedy Center captures the explosion of when the two collided.
Ooh, yeah. That's taken from the Cabin John Bridge side, it looks like.
Yeah, that's security footage from the Kennedy Center.
Okay, so yeah, that would be probably over there. Wow.
Which is over right before Georgetown.
Yes.
And see, that's the type of thing that I was anticipating this to be, because so many times the approach on the east-west.
This is video from.
Sorry, Ross.
That's all right. The approach on the east-west ramps, landing strips, are right along the east-west section of the Potomac that goes through like the monuments and into Georgetown and up into Alexandria and Great Falls and that. And if a flight crosses the river, it's getting talked to because it broke what's a zone called the P-56, which is the permanent flight restriction, one of the permanent flight restrictions around Washington, D.C. And just weaving just a little bit to the left and hitting that line is going to get you a conversation with us and the FAA. And you can be a professional pilot, commercial pilot, knowing what you're doing, and you still get a talking to. That's what I thought happened, that maybe there was a soft landing in the water because it was heavily fogged. But this is much worse.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try and do this. Show on screen. Now, Ross, since I'm going to be jumping back and forth between screens here, I'm going to try and make this full screen. Did this go full screen?
Yeah, I gotta do the same here.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Hide. All right, so this dot coming in on there was the collision. Jesus Christ.
So I'm not seeing any.
Are you seeing on
what looks like the program? I'm not seeing any. I'm just seeing a black screen from YouTube, and your cursor moving around.
Interesting. They've blacked it out. Okay. All right. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, I can do some searches too if you want me to.
Yeah, here, I'll send you the link to what I was trying to share because you've got more than one screen. So let me send that to you. I'll send that to you in YouTube. Everybody, I'm sorry, everybody, for a little informal here tonight.
I got it. I'm gonna send you a YouTube link. It's from the Kennedy Center.
Well, hit the share screen. Just share screen with one of your.
Okay.
That way, because I only have the one screen. That's the problem I'm having right now. All right, there we go. Now you can make yours
let me
full
back
screen.
this up. And I just got to do something else too. This is the commentary also from the Fox local affiliate. I think this is actually, I saw this is Baltimore or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Listening right now to WTTG. We're now taking over to show you this. This is video from the Kennedy Center camera. And you see that explosion right there. That is the moment when this small plane apparently crashed into a helicopter. You see a fireball, and then, Marla, we see that plane head down towards the Potomac River.
Oh, what an image there. And according to our sister station in DC, WTTG, that in fact is confirmed that a small aircraft collided with a helicopter. They were hearing that it is not a DC police helicopter, and colleagues on the ground say that several people were saying that it was a military helicopter. That information is not confirmed, but according to our sister station in DC.
So yeah, that is confirmed. I think they said it was Army, but that Defense Secretary Hegseth has been briefed as well.
You should be.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I think I saw earlier Trump was somewhere on one of my screens.
Yeah, he was
I mean,
too.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they woke him up probably right away. If he was asleep, I don't know, but whatever. You've probably been one of the ones to go shake him and go, "Hey, we need to talk."
Hey, Fox 5 there.
No, not that way. We've woken Senator Clinton on occasion with some things.
Yeah, I can. It's got to be a tough job. So yeah, how the heck? Well, I mean, I understand well, see, they're patrolling because of all the threats and stuff. They're patrolling. I assume the Blackhawks they probably have permission to be in restricted air, don't they?
Well, yes and no. They still have to get it every time they fly through it. And for something like this, that's now going to be denied unless they're part of the search and rescue operation. But I remember the Potomac River, the east-west part of it, was like a helicopter highway.
Yes.
We see Blackhawks going up and down that on the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the you know them as Hueys, you know, the Vietnam style helicopters. Mm-hmm. That's what you heard them refer to Eagle. That's the Park Police. Park Police has 3 helicopters, 2 of those larger, which are also now Sikorsky. No, Bell, actually. They're Bell 412s. 420s, one of the 2. But Bell makes what used to be Hughes helicopters. The what you always see in the Vietnam movies. And then the Blackhawks are made by Sikorsky. And that's what some of the other military and what's involved here. That's brand new. That's probably about a $35 or $40 million helicopter.
Yeah. And I mean,
and I'm not saying that it's the price that's the issue here. There's 60 people that were on that plane. And that's what I don't know what time that Fox actually I do. 6:52 p.m. So that must be Mountain Time somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had the dispatch one at 8:50, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's 2 hours behind. That's Mountain Time. And that's what's on the screen from that Fox local. Yeah, they keep saying, and I guess at that point it was still very new, but they keep saying small plane. That American Eagle flight is not a small plane. It's a small passenger jet with a maximum of 70 passengers.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent size.
Small plane makes me think Cessna.
Yes, me too.
4 passenger. There were that many crew members.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's share. 34-degree water temp is what Andy just said on his channel.
Yeah.
That's bad.
The question is, how come that helicopter didn't see that?
Well, the helicopter probably did see that, but the problem is it looked as though they were traveling perpendicular. Am I saying that right? They were traveling at an angle to each other. And so you have It's an effect with the light and the speed. You don't realize that you're going as fast as you are versus. Does that make there's
Yeah,
a reason
and
for that.
now I kind of understand. When I flew with the park police, I would be they would be assisting us on presidential missions where we're flying above either an outdoor site or above a motorcade movement, or for that matter, in front of a helicopter movement. Yeah, there you go. That's it exactly.
Yes, that's the plan.
And when the pilot's sitting in the right front seat and the co-pilot or navigator is sitting in the left front seat, they're talking, they tell each other everything.
Mhm.
However obvious, power lines to the right. Yep, I see them. Thank you. And they're very polite. They're very calm. And high-rise apartment buildings to the left. I see them. Thank you. And I'm like, these guys sound like they're on Mr. Rogers. And when I read the account that I found on Yahoo News of the conversations between the tower at Reagan, the American Airlines flight, and the military flight, I'm like, now I know why. Because at 140 miles an hour, you're not going to see each other.
Nope.
Lights or not.
Nope. And it looked as though the helicopter was going, we'll just say left, right, and the other one was coming
North, south.
Yeah, north, south, east, west. Yeah. So they
Coming
might
out
not have
of the
seen
south.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
they
coming
did.
out of the south. And that's what
And
that said. Let me read this to you. The part that I tried to U.S. Army described the helicopter as a UH-60 Blackhawk based at Fort Belvoir in Virginia.
Oh my
A
God.
crew of 3 soldiers were on board the helicopter, the Army official said. The crash is serving as a major test for 2 of the Trump administration's newest agency leaders. Pete Hegseth, sworn in days ago as defense secretary, posted on social media that his department was actively monitoring the situation that involved the Army helicopter. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, just sworn in earlier this week, said in a social media post that he was at the FAA HQ and closely monitoring the situation. The airport was to remain closed until 5 a.m. Friday. Friday?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Tomorrow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, not to get political, but these guys just took the job. I mean, they barely got their underwear on.
Yeah.
And
This will be a test indeed.
And like them or not, God, that's a horrible job. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's not going to bring anybody that was still locked in to their seat back, but I certainly hope they both rise to the occasion with this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a tragedy. I
found,
know somebody's going to say, why didn't the plane start saying pull up, pull up? You have one going 140 miles an hour and you have another one going 200 miles an hour approaching each other. Even with the most sophisticated radar, AI would have probably been the only thing that would have saved it if it had had enough advanced warning, because even human error, I don't know that you would have had enough time to pull up.
Right. Well, and that's unfortunately, that's what I'm reading makes this look like. That's what I found earlier, and I just kind of gave an overview. American Airlines flight 5342 was inbound to Reagan National at an altitude of about 400 feet and a speed of about 140 miles per hour when it suffered a rapid loss of altitude over the Potomac River, according to the data from its radio transponder. A few minutes before landing, air traffic controllers asked the arriving commercial jet if it could land on the shorter runway 33 at Reagan National, and the pilots said they were able. Controllers then cleared the plane to land on runway 33. Flight tracking sites showed the plane adjust its approach to the new runway. Less than 30 seconds before the crash, an air traffic controller asked the helicopter if it had the arriving plane in sight. The controller made another radio call to the helicopter moments later. Pat 25 passed behind the CRJ. Seconds after that, the two aircraft collided. The plane's transponder stopped transmitting at about 2,400 feet, short of the runway, roughly over the middle of the river. Video from an observation camera at nearby Kennedy Center, that's what we showed, showed two sets of lights consistent with aircraft appearing to join in a fireball.
They never knew it hit each other. I mean,
yeah, that sounds like it too.
It's going to be a tremendous operator error from air traffic control, probably.
That's what I'm reading into it. Yeah, I want to know why they changed runways. What happened that they needed to change runways?
Is there any weather up there right now?
Yeah. I just saw that too. There we go. The collision occurred on a warm winter evening in Washington, with temperatures registering as high as 60 degrees Fahrenheit, following a stretch days earlier of intense cold and ice. On Wednesday, the Potomac River was 36 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The National Weather Service reported wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, I just pulled up radar up there, and yeah, there's no snow, there's no rain, there's nothing. Interestingly enough, Montgomery County sent out an emergency message on it, which is showing up through the FEMA site. That's the other side of Washington, D.C. Why would that? Makes no sense. That has to be a typo. That has to be. I wonder if I could bring up somewhere I had the Virginia. Would it be on that one? No, it probably wouldn't be. I was trying to think if I could bring up any of the. Well, they probably shut them down. The highway cameras. If I had to guess. Let's see. I can go back to close this. I'm going to try.
Okay, here's as of 8 minutes ago from CNN. A passenger aircraft carrying 64 people collided midair with the U.S. Army Blackhawk helicopter near Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. as it approached a runway. Fatalities have been confirmed, and rescuers have not yet pulled any survivors from the water, said a law enforcement source. And that's as of 8 minutes ago.
That's all I do.
Let's see here. I'm going to try and skip ahead. I'm going to play some of these.
It's very shallow here, so you might want to let him run that.
Okay. 376 underway with.
Boat 376 underway with 2.
378 underway with 3.
Boat 378 underway with 3. 2057.
Command from Fireboat 201.
Fireboat 201, go ahead and get underway looking for a aircraft versus a helicopter in the Potomac area of Reagan National. Will be on rate 33.
Fireboat 3. Just the runway of River.
204, Park PD's been notified.
Thank you.
2057.
Adam.
Adam 28, repeat.
I was firing outside the north boathouse.
Copy.
Fire 3 said buoy number 9 is where the crash location is.
54 back in service.
Moving west between buoy number 9 and the runway. We're on the scene right now with what appears to be 1 kilo, very serious damage. This is an aircraft where we're on the scene. We're seeing an aircraft. We're initiating search. 378 on scene.
Code 378 on scene.
Fire 3, can you confirm do you have any victims in the water right now?
No victims right now. Tail number N709 P Paul S Sam.
Okay. Airport Fire from Potomac River Command, go ahead and start me the MCI alarm to Gate Delta at DCA.
I caught that N number and I texted it to
Go
you.
ahead and let PD know I'm going to need a bunch of escorts to Gate Delta.
Airport Fire, okay.
Yeah, they're calling for a whole task force there.
DC have an assignment on this as well with your right side.
Fire 3 Command. We located 1 victim right now. We're establishing the river branch. There is a full water rescue assignment coming from DC.
Okay, and do you guys have EMS assets on that side as well? In reference to like a mass casualty alarm.
324 the command. Tail number November 709 PS.
Daddy, do you have a location date?
Negative. We're reaching out to Eagle 1 to see if they can deploy helicopters for further search.
Okay. No, 4. Did this come from Tower?
Correct. Came over to CrashNet.
And do we know if this is civilian or is this Coast Guard?
Adam 28 to 4. Ops advised there's a helicopter in the water. Been found by boats retrieving injured. They're looking for the aircraft at this moment. CRJ possibly.
Okay, where are you at?
North Boathouse. That's where they're setting up incident command. Ops 3709. Papa Sierra, I think is the tail number of the helo.
No, 4. Let's have everybody involved switch over to 2 Echo.
That Papa Sam ending, that's for the CRJ.
That's the
November 709 Papa Sam is for the CRJ.
Okay. All right.
Copy.
And this is at 9 o'clock even.
Engine 105, Engine 110, Engine 161 Bravo, Engine 104, Medic 110, Medic 101, Medic 102, Medic 105, Medic 109, East M South 1 Vin, EMS 101 Engine 29, Engine 204, 2. Box, 30101. Mass casualty alarm. Runway 33 DCA. Runway 33 DCA. On channel 3 Charlie.
Ops 3. Ops 3, go ahead. 709 Papa Sierra is the tail number of the helo. It is found in the river. They're doing rescue right now. 709 Papa Sierra.
Copy that 709 Papa Sierra. Anything on the CRJ?
Nothing just yet.
Airport Fire from Chief 302. Add me to the run at DCA.
Add Chief 302 to the runway.
So in DC,
351 at service. Have a good night. Have a good night.
the fire departments are divided up in, I'll have to pull up my notes. Each, like I grew up in Fairfax Station 24 growing up. Well, after 9/11, they got all the communications together. They changed all the Fairfax County units to 400 units. So my station is now 424. So everyone is a 100, 200, 300. I think 300 is, I want to say, I'm going to pull it up before I say something wrong, because I do have that.
Affirmative, Chief.
Come here, go ahead.
Aircraft. Do you have any information with tail number?
There was a lot of background. Can you repeat?
River Branch Command.
River, go ahead.
We located one victim. We're trying to remove him right now. PDA.
What shore you bring them to? The best access from the airport side will be our boathouse. However, we do not have any transport. We only have one transport unit there right now. If you have an assignment on your side with multiple transport units, make the decision to what would be the fastest to get the patient out.
1095 will be out of service. Have a good night.
Copy. Have a good night.
Ambulance 427. Box 30101. Mass casualty alarm. Runway 33 DCA. Runway 33 DCA. On channel.
So, interrupted here. 0 units. So, station 1 through 99 is Washington, D.C. 100 units is Arlington. 200 units are Alexandria. 300 units are the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority, which includes Dulles. 400 is Fairfax. 500 is Prince William. 600 is Loudoun. 700 is Montgomery. 800 is Prince George's County. 900 is Frederick County. 10 is Charles County. 11 is Fauquier. 12 is Culpeper. This goes out as far as Warren County and Stafford, and it is because of incidents like this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're calling in ambulances from everywhere.
So what I shared on the screen, that yellow line is the flight path of the helicopter. And the orange line is the corrected flight path to come into runway 33.
It was coming up the Mount Vernon. Okay.
If it was coming out of the south. And see, can you see my, okay, there we go. It was going to hit this runway here. And for whatever reason, it was changed. And now you see it was going to hit this one here. And came up about, what did we say, about 400 feet short.
Short, yeah. And 38
what
feet
they
of water.
tried to get the helicopter to do to pass behind it was to not make this bank here by the Anacostia, but instead continue into Maryland and then head south. Right here is where that helicopter was essentially. No, that's Bowling right there. Where did we say that was out of?
Belvoir. Belvoir is further to the bottom of your screen there, but that's where I would have lived.
Yep.
Yeah. So what they call, you're right. We used to call it the Mount Vernon something, the Mount Vernon approach, because the plane was coming up from the bottom of the screen, which is Mount Vernon, George Washington's home, is at the bottom of the screen there. And so it comes in that way into Ronald Reagan, and it was on the correct runway for the Mount Vernon approach. Why the air traffic controller switched them, I have no idea. And you are correct. There are probably 500 helicopters a day that go up and down between Quantico, Arlington. What is that? Meade? No, it's not Meade anymore. The air base over there on the right in Maryland. Of course, the Pentagon is up a little bit further on your left. Bowling. And the Pentagon is a little bit up further on your left. And of course, then you have the whole DC thing. And then just up a little bit further on top right is Joint Base Andrews.
Yep.
So, yeah. So the crash that I grew up with took off of that same runway and splashed down on that first bridge. Well, I don't know if it was the first bridge, 14th Street
black
bridge.
line. The thinner black line is the rail. That's the I don't know if it's the red line or if they do colors there. It's one of the lines that goes. I think it might be the yellow and the green or whatever, but the thinner one's the rail. That one is the one that goes to. I think that one's 14th, and that one's the highway. Correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's Route 1. Or no, that's 395. Sorry.
395. Yeah.
Man. So 3 hours into the incident, and the only person that they pulled out was the pilot of the helicopter. I don't know what kind of condition he would have been in, or she would have been in, but
And that's what we were listening to right before you paused it.
yes. Yeah. I'm gonna go back and start it back.
All right, all river units, we've established the river branch. That will be for boat 3. Unless you have an urgent message, please go through the river branch to coordinate.
We should place now.
River branch for both 376. We're following the debris trail out looking for victims.
Safety 402 en route.
Medic 102 is en route.
Command EMS 3.
EMS 3, go ahead. And which EMS 3 is that? I got a lot of units on this call.
EMS 3. I was just going to make a suggestion, try to make one central point. I understand you got 2 shorelines, but if we could use DJ as a landing point for all ambulance, funnel everybody in and out, make it easier with the hospitals.
Okay, thank you.
Engine 205 is en route. Engine 2 is en route. Switch up to Nemo. Switch over to 3 Lima.
Medic engine 105 is right, confirming the channel.
Fire, okay. Channel 3 Lima.
So that's Arlington, Alexandria, and DC.
Potomac River, man, get command channel, please.
Airport fire, okay.
And have all units from the NCI alarm come up on the command channel. Should be 3 Charlie.
Potomac River Command from Airport fire.
Do you have an assignment?
Go ahead, April Fire.
Are we switching to channel 3 Charlie?
No, ma'am, I need a command channel. Make it 3 Charlie.
27.
Command from engine 209.
Airport fire, okay. Command channel will be on 3 Charlie.
And have all mutual aid units come to DCA, come up on 3 Charlie.
Sure.
So 3 Charlie is channel C. Channel 3.
Airport fire, okay. All mutual aid responding for this incident. Respond on channel 3 Charlie.
I don't have any camera footage on that. There doesn't look like a camera in the area.
Medic 109 is responding. Medic 109 responding. Switch to 3 Charlie.
Medic 101 is en route.
Medic 102 route.
Medic 105 in traffic.
That's all Arlington.
Engine 110 en route. Engine 203 on 3 Charlie.
That's Alexandria.
411 en route.
It's
Medic 204 en route.
Wild Fowl Station.
3 Charlie. Fire boot 2 to command.
Fire boot 2.
Yeah, we have a victim or 2. What do you want us to do? I'm sure it's going to be a big NTSB call, but mark locations and where would you like to go?
If you have patients, you can bring them to our boathouse, the North Boathouse. You should be able to access.
Copy, North Boathouse.
Medic 110 en route.
So when they say if you have patients,
Yes.
are those survivors?
EMS 201.
Yeah, patient is a survivor. Patient or victim is a survivor. Now they will tell you what they usually will call them: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta. Alpha is minor, and Delta is dead. So we should start hearing some of that soon.
Medic 207.
Medic 301. I believe the boats are going to start bringing you victims. Please go ahead and prepare a collection point, please.
River Branch, boat 376.
we follow the debris trail out as far as we can to the east. Unable to locate any further movement.
Have a tail number. Ops command, Ops 6.
Battalion 301 from Medic Engine 105. Do you have a gate point access?
Code 375 to command.
Ops 6, go ahead.
375, go ahead.
Do you have a tail number yet?
No, not yet. I believe one of the units on the river had a tail number. Please deal with the river branch and check with them.
We have one DOA. Where do you want us to take that right now?
All patients, regardless of priority, for right now, can come to the north boathouse. All of the boats should be able to access the ramp to the side of the north bus.
Okay, Delta.
Looks like flight number is 2 Street.
Ops 6, we're getting a request from PSA. 60 souls onward. 60 souls on board.
David 20, David 21.
And for Medic 301, requesting permission to make a EMS channel.
21 right wrong. 21 copy.
2106.
Medic 301, since we don't have any other units right now, I'm going to go ahead and make you the EMS branch for right now. Get with airport fire on another channel. And,
I would hate to be that paramedic.
EMS channel, let me know what it is.
Copy. Medic 301.
He's being made what?
301 requesting.
So the first in officer, which is the person that rides on the passenger seat on the engine, is the incident commander until a chief who drives a car, gets on scene and takes over. The paramedic, which is the person that sits in the passenger seat on the ambulance, the first one in, is the one in charge of medical. So he is the EMS sector command. He is responsible for setting up the triage area, which command advised was the North Boathouse. He is at that point, he is in charge of delegating, because they can't just have all the ambulances pull up into the parking lot. You essentially have to back in and take a turn. And we used to joke first in, last out. And it's not really a joke, but when you're the first one in, you have to basically, you're trained. Those of you that can hear my voice, follow my partner that way. And then I start going over as the paramedic and I start triaging them. And I'm like, okay, medic 1, you take this patient. He's a green. Medic 2, you take, and you start sorting them out that way. In this situation, they're actually bringing the victims or patients by boat one at a time to him, but he's still got the responsibility of all these incoming ambulances. Now, as they start stacking up, the first in ladder truck driver on an incident like this should be what they call resources command. And his job will be, okay, you need an engine. Engine 2 is in the parking lot. I'm sending you them here. And that's his job. Everybody breaks into different sectors and jobs, and you know what they are going in, so that this is like clockwork, so that because time, 38 degree temperature, your clock is ticking very short, So in Fairfax's boat is coming from Pohick, which is down by Belvoir. So it's got to come, they got to get in the boat. They got to get out of the fire station, get in the boat. It's on the water. And then get up there. I'm not sure where Alexandria or Arlington or DC's is, but, obviously the boats from the airport will be the first there. And you heard him say they were following a debris trail looking for survivors.
Heard that. Yeah.
So, and then that's another thing. Now you're going to start calling in, and I haven't heard him call for that yet. He's only called for mass casualty. It's probably in the dispatch parameters to start with, but then you have to call in heavy rescue, specialty teams. You have to call in specialty divers, because I'm a paramedic. I can fix you if you're on the ground, but if you're in the water, I can't get to you and pull you out. That's not my training. I don't know how to do that. So you have to have a specialty team. And once again, you have to get those resources there. So that's a tough assignment. You heard Rescue 411. That is, I don't know if you're familiar with Fairfax, but that's Pendall. That's one of my old stations in Virginia. And that's one of their assignments is they're a heavy rescue and they're a dive rescue. You're probably going to hear Rescue 419 come from Lorton, which is below on Route 1 below Fort Belvoir. They're a hazmat unit because you're going to have a hazmat component to this because you now have aviation fuel in the water.
Right.
And 38-degree temperature, water temperature, and we said it was what 50 some degrees in DC. That's not a flashpoint factor, but that's something you have to consider because jet fuel is lighter than water, so it's going to sit on the top. If it was a 102 Washington DC degree day, that would be another major problem. Yeah, I mean, and that's what a lot of people they get on us, police and fire, EMS, about you're not doing it fast enough. You're doing it, but there are so many things you have to take into consideration with these type of incidents. You have a mass casualty, you have a hazmat, you have a specialty rescue. Now, and there's aircraft firefighting as well involved, but that is not so much. The aircraft fire trucks aren't. They're manpower at this point, so yeah. And when we used to joke, it could always be worse. That day in, was it 1982 when Air Florida went down, they also had the Metro rail crash in Fairfax because of the snow. So we had a underground metro rail crash with fire in a jumbo jet during a blizzard on the 14th Street Bridge with survivors. It was like, what? Throw something else at me, God. It was. Really? So and you heard, I lost track of the amount of medic units. Basically, Arlington and Alexandria dumped all of their medic units. Fairfax started theirs. DC probably dumped all of theirs. When I say dumped, that means they dispatched everyone they had available. Well, now somebody's got to come from Fairfax or Prince William or Loudoun and answer the calls for the regular sick people and car wrecks and stuff going on in the other areas. And it's the same for police. They
don't leave one back to cover the home turf.
Probably not in Metro DC, no, because with it being so close, Fairfax can have units into Alexandria within 5 minutes from, pretty much central Fairfax. Now, if it was coming from PG County, yeah, they probably would. But being as that it's on this side of the river, no, they probably just dumped all of Alexandria and Arlington, and Fairfax is going to start backfilling them. And then Prince William is going to start backfilling Fairfax. Stafford's going to start backfilling Prince William. See, that's what I'm saying. People just don't realize how deep this goes. There's departments as far south as Richmond that are now moving, what would that be, northeast to cover other counties so that other resources can go cover the county that covers the county, and we're lucky in this country to have those type of resources, but not all parts of the country have these type of resources. But yeah, even with the volunteer services, we still have mutual aid agreements like that, So yeah, it's a horrible mess. Let's go back in. I'm going to continue playing some of this.
Separate channel for EMS.
Medic one, switch over to Bravo off this channel and request that, please.
375, come on beside me right here. Up again. Up 6.
Go ahead, Ross. Go ahead.
West side.
Op 6, go ahead.
What do you want me to ammo and for DC or so for this location? Airport Fire Paramedic 301. 301. Give me a channel for EMS. Say again. Requesting a channel for EMS task force. Okay, we can put down 3 Delta. 3 Delta.
Airport Fire from Potomac River River Command, I need representatives from PD and Airport Ops, the Command, the approach, and 33 Police.
Command, could you repeat the location one more time?
Okay, so what you just heard there was they give a channel for just EMS. They have operations channel. They have what they call a command channel, which is all the officers from all the departments will start talking. And you just heard him ask for representatives from PD. And it sounded like he said to meet in the middle of the runway. So he's going to set his command post, his actual physical location in the middle of that runway where he can see as much as he can see. Now, you can tell me probably from a police side what your responsibilities would be in an incident like this. I mean, obviously you've got to secure both sides of the water, or I guess.
Yeah. So a 360-degree protection, just like when we're protecting a person, protecting a crime scene and sealing it off every direction possible. And that, regardless of the flow of the water, that's still going to include the north side to prevent anything from coming down into the crash site and, making matters worse, or, anything, any type of contamination or tampering. I don't think there's any pleasure boats out in this temperature past 8 p.m., but still it's something that has to be considered for. Then it sounded like we did have at least that one survivor. Is that the one pilot you said?
That's what it's sounding like from the initial communications.
Wherever they're pulling that person out of the water and trying to ascertain from them if there's anybody else right behind them. And again, that goes with the whole 360. Are they coming out from one side and the other person come up the other? I mean, judging by where it looks like that, it looks like it's closer to the bowling, joint base bowling on Congress Heights than it is to the actual airport. So the East Bank is probably where they're going to swim to if they get pulled out that way.
And I'm going to guess they have probably shut down probably Route 1 into DC and 395, maybe even over, what is that other bridge over there, so that police and ambulances can move freer. I'm going to guess.
Probably the South Capitol Street Bridge by the ballpark.
Yes. That's just a guess. Now, Coast Guard is in there too somewhere, aren't they? Where would Coast Guard be? Do you know?
Their actual location?
Yeah. I know there's a, I guess you call it a station, a base. I don't know what you call it.
Their headquarters is over by the new soccer field. And that's also by the South Capitol Street heliport and south of the it's over by the soccer field, which is to the southwest of Nationals Park.
Okay. So I assume they would probably be the police on the water, I would assume. I don't...
That or DC. DC has a Marine unit. Coast Guard has a Marine unit. I don't know where the Marine unit is based. And I forget. I have a picture of the DC Marine unit. I just don't know remember where that one's based either.
Let's see. And I'm wondering, with it being a military plane or aircraft, excuse me, I'm wondering if they would, is that going to bring any special protocol to DC to the protectees?
You mean after the fact or just as part of the investigation?
I mean, as it's happening, and they find out it's a military aircraft, do they do anything Like a threat assessment or anything?
No, I don't see this as this clearly sounds like an accident. It's not like it was a targeted terrorist attack. So I don't see anything like that coming from it. And I also read that the helicopter flight was a training mission. Which is also going to suck because obviously somewhere there's the chances of a newbie being involved in that.
Well, I mean, I was just talking to somebody about this earlier, talking about, it was my cousin, because he was talking about he works out by the Tennessee Air National Guard. And he said they've been flying like crazy. And he said, of course, he works with some of the guys, and he's like, we've got to get our training hours in somehow,
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's, okay. Yep, South Capitol Street. I would imagine that the president and probably what's that?
I didn't realize that's the map we were sharing. I'm looking for the
Sorry, I switched it. You had two of them up.
Okay. I'm looking for the Marine station for DC police. I forget where it's at. I think it's on the Anacostia.
I don't know that I ever knew, but that would make sense to me.
I know where the helipad is. That's at the South Capitol Street helipad. That's where MPD flies in and out of.
So in an incident like this, if you can say, is Hegseth and what do they call him? Not the Joint Chiefs, but his cabinet, I guess the ones that have been elected or sworn in or whatever you call it. Are they somewhere right now watching cameras and stuff in the White House?
No, Hegseth said he was. He was at the with the Army and monitoring, and that same article said the transportation secretary was at FAA headquarters. But that's all that I saw.
Okay, so they wouldn't be in like you see on TV where the president goes down 13 floors and goes into this big room and.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be in like a war room. Not all of them for this.
I can, no matter who you are as president, this has got to be a moment that your hair starts turning gray or falling out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had nothing to do with it, but you're still the head man in charge, And
this is going to be a test for the entire administration, but particularly those three. President.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit vice president, but President Hegseth, and I had the name, the transportation secretary.
I don't even know who it is. Have they been sworn in? Oh, yeah, you said they've been
sworn in. He was sworn in earlier this week.
Wow. You've barely been on the scene 1 week, and you've got a mass casualty incident. Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a
Secretary Sean Duffy, who was confirmed by Senate earlier Wednesday. He was your first day.
Oh.
Confirmed by the Senate to his post earlier Wednesday. Said, I am on site at FAA HQ and closely monitoring.
Wow. I don't know where FAA HQ is, obviously somewhere in DC, but wow.
I can't
imagine.
At Reagan, or perhaps near FEMA, which is in the area of L'Enfant Plaza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you imagine what a horrible first day? That's like a paramedic your very first day and going to, a shooting at a school or something. That's
Yeah.
that's our police officer going to a shooting at a school on his first day out of the academy. Or, I can't imagine.
1200 New Jersey Avenue Southeast.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not Southwest, but Southeast. So.
And I imagine Pete is probably at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Hegseth?
Hegseth. Yep.
I imagine he's at the Pentagon. And I'm pretty sure that they have Belvoir on the phone. Davidson Airfield. But comms would have been through Reagan Tower.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and continue to play a little bit more here. We're only up to 9:07.
Battalion 5-7. Box 30101. Mass casualty alarm. Runway 33 DCA. Runway 33 DCA. On channel.
And he just said Battalion 507?
32. I'm coming through gate alpha with medics. What do you want me to say to?
Helicopter Fairfax Lima.
Fairfax 1.
Here it is.
Go to the channel and help anybody we can if you.
He said Battalion 50, whatever it was. That's Prince William County. They're calling it a battalion chief from Prince William County. Now, I'm going to take a guess on this. He's probably a specialty battalion chief over a dive team. That's just a guess. I don't know, but that's 3 counties away. Wow.
And it's not like any of these people are sitting in the office waiting to get this call.
No, 9 o'clock at night, you're watching TV in your bunk room, or you're eating dinner, or whatever.
So that they would still be at the station, though, a specialty team like that.
Yeah. And so, if that's a Prince William County, I bet you that's probably from the Occoquan area, because they've got all those, what do they call them? The deep water dive teams down there in Occoquan below the dams. So that's probably a battalion chief or a chief over a dive team coming from Prince William County. Which, I mean, honestly, you're going to get on Route 1 and you're going to follow Route 1 all the way up, or Route 1 to the Parkway and then the Parkway in, but it's not close.
If you can see where that pointer, the finger, and the arrow, that's the general area of FAA headquarters. Where, what did I say his name was? Sean something.
Sean
Duffy,
I think you said. I don't even know who that is.
New transportation secretary. He's going to be in that area. And then I can show it to you because it will be standing out right over there. Right there's where Hegseth's going to be, the Pentagon.
Yeah.
So Hegseth, crash site, and Duffy.
And do they swear in a person over the FAA as well? Or is that just under DOT?
I don't know if there's a head administrator that's a presidential appointee there. I would presume there is, because a Secret Service is a presidential appointment, the director there. Other agencies like that are presidential appointments, so I don't know if that's been done yet or not.
Yeah, I mean, we're 10 days into his administration. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And that's another thing a lot of people don't realize. Not everybody goes to work on day one right after the president at high noon or whatever it was, 1300. They got to go through the executive, or not the legislative branch to be approved.
Yeah, the Senate.
So who, if like, let's say that those people hadn't been sworn in yet, would the people from the Biden administration still have been in charge, or is there? How is that limbo area work?
No, because their resignations are effective as of 12 noon, which is the swearing in
Okay.
of the new president. So if there's, not to get political, but if there's a civil service person that hasn't been fired or hasn't accepted the resignation opportunity, the highest available would be representing that agency until the presidential appointment is
Okay.
confirmed. Unless the president, which is what he's done many times in his first administration, unless he names an acting director of such agency or acting secretary and bypasses the confirmation process.
Like an undersecretary, like Bob was sworn in under another president, but we like him, so we can move Bob up, like that type of thing.
Yeah. Chad Wolf was the acting secretary of Homeland Security for a while. After, I think between John Kelly and Kirsten Nielsen, before she came in, or maybe after.
Okay. So I guess my question was, during that whatever 1201 till X time down the road, there's still somebody in charge. It's not
There's
just
somebody there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's not just like, well, good luck with that. Nobody wants the job.
Well, yeah. And you know, that's why I wish the new administration and everybody a part of it all the best. Yeah, as you know, I'm not a Trump fan, but this is definitely a time to not care about who you are and who you're not a fan of.
No.
And everybody to do well.
Well, the border guy, before President Trump had even gotten, I think, to the White House, they had a border agent murdered in Vermont. So, they had a border patrol agent killed on the road in a highway in Vermont. So, I mean, literally Trump had just been sworn in and I'll say it's his police officers. It's not really, but I mean, he's kind of in charge of everybody. So, that's a tough job. I don't care who the hell you are. That's a tough job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to call. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I would assume if a border patrol agent was murdered, that the president, that would warrant a call from the president to the mom or daughter or wife or something, no matter who you are,
Yeah.
I would assume. I don't know, but I mean, I guess in a time of war, you can't call every soldier's family, but still the weight of that. I mean, I was not a huge Obama fan. Didn't dislike, but I was not a huge fan of his. But if you look at when he went in, he was so young and spry, and then you look at when he got out, and it's like, wow, you're not that old. I mean, in the bigger picture.
He and Bush both look bad.
Yes.
By comparison. I mean, when I say by meaning, compared to when they went in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just shocking. And I guess those are the two I remember for most. I mean, the first real president I remember any really thing about, I guess, is Reagan. And he was older going in, and I was still pretty young. So I guess the younger presidents are, like you said, Bush and Obama, the ones. I mean, Clinton was already gray-haired going in. But he aged too.
No. When he was on Arsenio Hall, when he played the saxophone as Governor Clinton on the Arsenio Hall show, you could still see some of the dark. He was a little bit more. I mean, he was gray, but he had the dark and was slightly salt and pepper.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't really remember that because I don't really
through.
Oh yeah. Well,
Monica aged him.
Well, Monica, and then he had Well, each administration's had their tests, whether they be military or, a tragedy of some sort in the United States. But and there's the things that we don't even know about. I mean, you probably know of some of them, but there's the things that we don't even know about. They get calls every day from probably every governor or every, not every, but so many places with so many things going on. You can only take on so much. Yeah, see, I was a little young. I don't know that I really remember that.
So you can see is some of clearly he's gray, but
yeah,
there's still some of the darkness, and that was also. See if I can find a body shot of that.
Look at Arsenio. God, he was young then.
Yeah. There is some of them where you can tell he's been hitting that McDonald's a little too heavy.
I can't blame him. Don't they have on duty at all times a chef in the White House?
I don't know if it's 24/7.
Is it? Okay.
But
somebody told me the McDonald's down the street was 24 hours for the White House exclusively. Was it you that told me that?
No, that I don't know. I would maybe that one. I'm trying to think. I don't think that was one of the places we went. That section of DC, the downtown, rolls the sidewalks up at 5 o'clock.
It's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it? Yes. Yes.
It is a ghost town. And if you're on a patrol on a midnight shift, I remember the only place we found that was open when I was there as part of the right after September 11th. I was part of the extended perimeter around the White House. And I was on like a vehicle roving patrol. And then I was at another checkpoint where we had a vehicle as like a blocking car. And we had a push vehicle that was just what we all drove around to relieve each other in. I took that all the way to the end of M Street on the other side of Georgetown, right before it goes into the park.
Yep.
To go to a gas station that was 24 hours to get one of those pre-made egg salad sandwiches.
Oh, God.
Because that was the only place anywhere near that was open that late.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah. And I still miss DC. For all of its faults, I still miss it.
Yeah, aspects of it, I certainly do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. A lot of people don't realize how beautiful it is. And there's so much to do as far as museums and art galleries and just so many sites and things to do. Yeah, I will always, of course, I grew up on the Northern Virginia side, so I will always miss it. So
less than a minute ago, authorities held news conference on mid-air plane collision. Authorities are holding a news conference on Wednesday's collision between American Airlines passenger plane and U.S. Army Blackhawk helicopter near Reagan Airport, outside Washington, D.C. 60 passengers, 4 crew. 3 soldiers were on board the helicopter, which was on a training flight. And that's it.
Oh, they don't list any.
30 minutes ago, no survivors were recovered.
Well, we were already how far into the incident were
that
we?
Was
We
bad
were
news for that whoever it was that they did pull out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's the one new update. Potomac River has average depth of 24 feet. And I heard you say that that area was 38 feet.
Yes.
I never knew it was that deep. God damn.
Yeah, there's certain parts of it that are, yeah. And so and then for every 10 feet you lose what, 5 degrees or something like that. I think
Yeah.
there's a formula. I can't remember. Like I said, I'm not a diver, but so you and one of my and I'm gonna have to reach out to him tomorrow. He was a rookie during the first DC plane crash, and he was a diver. He came from PG County, and he tells me or told me stories of swimming down into the water and coming face to face with a baby in a car seat. Well, not a car seat, a passenger plane seat, because you don't put babies in car seats, you just put them in a seat. It's frozen there, and how he still sees it to this day. So I have to check on him. I'm gonna have to check a lot of my guys from DC Fairfax tomorrow, because of it's going to bring back a lot of memories. And it's just been, I just saw it the other day in my timeline. I can't remember, 40 years or something. It was like recent.
Oh, like a memorial post or something?
Yeah. Talking about how many years and then the Challenger was like 33 years ago. I mean, I remember exactly where I was when that happened. Yeah. I was fresh out of high school, I guess. Yeah, I guess I was fresh out of high school then. So yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to play some of the highlights of what I see people have said here. So let's see.
River Branch Command.
Command, go ahead.
We located 4th victim PDOS moving from the water.
Victim number 4 is that 4 total with all the river assets so far.
We got 3 out of the water from DC Fireboat 3, and there's 1 lodged in the airframe.
Copy that. 4 total. 3 out of the water, 1 in the airframe.
1 in the what?
1 lodged in the airframe.
Which means it's chopped up.
Physically wedged in there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Airport fire from Potomac River Command on 3 Charlie.
Potomac River Command.
All MJ units assigned to the MCI alarm get to Gate Delta. Have PD escort them to the North Boathouse.
Airport fire, okay. Escorting MCI units to the North Boathouse.
Hold on, thanks.
So we said this was dispatched at 8:50. That was at 9:11. So you're already 20 minutes into it.
Yeah.
So, and they're just getting, people out of the water.
Potomac River Command to any DC Battalion Chief.
Go ahead, Potomac River Command.
For your information, there were 6 souls on board of a CJ jet. River Branch, did you copy that as well? 60 souls on board, unknown of the helicopter.
Fireboat 2 copies, 60. River Branch copies 6-0.
6-0, that's correct.
River Branch, okay.
Okay, Cap.
DC Battalion Chief to Incident Command. We now have a diver being called from our fireboat location headed to the crash site. And we have multiple units on this side of the river should you need us.
Who's the last unit on 3 Lane?
DC Battalion Chief.
Can you reach your message?
We have a diver being launched from our fireboat from Rescue Squad 2. They're coming down river now to the crash site to meet up with our fireboat. And we have a box assignment here on our side of the river, so if you need anything on this side.
Okay, thank you.
Come on.
So they're in, having been a diver, I can tell you, they're not in your basic wetsuit.
No.
Because a wetsuit makes you just that. It actually allows water underneath the suit, up against your body, and your body heat and the rubber is what keeps you warm. When that water is 36 degrees, you ain't going to heat that to a point where it's going to keep you warm. Your body temperature average is, you've all heard this, is 98.6. And if your body gets down as far as, so what is it, something like 93?
Yeah, 93.
94, 93, something like that, you start hitting hypothermia.
Yes.
36 degrees, you're an instant ice cube.
Yes.
So what divers wear are called dry suits. It's like, imagine if you put on baggy sweatpants that was waterproof. It kind of more of a jumpsuit, actually.
Okay.
That's waterproof. And booties that close it up. And gloves. And a hood. And then most of the times even there can be a helmet over top of the hood. And what I'm presuming they're going to do is they're going to be cabled to the boat.
Yeah, you always tie your rescuer off.
Yeah, because they're not going to have fins on. They're going to be in essentially bare feet, not literally, but they're going to be in boots as opposed to flippers, fins. And
yeah, and you communicate with tugs on the rope to.
No, that's another reason why they're going to be cabled, is because now there's radio communications inside the mask.
Okay, all right.
If it's a helmet.
See, that's how old school I am.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. If it's a helmet, it'll be an even better system because it'll be a closed system. It'll be a direct line. It'll be an actual cable.
And I would assume up there they have that type of technology.
Yeah. Some of them are now actually, diver to diver. If it was a wetsuit type of thing and they were just on a mask, they have these it's almost like a space helmet that some of the divers are wearing now. And you can talk one to the other.
Now, even in that suit, though, your body can't take but X amount of time, right?
Correct. Yep. The only thing that's doing is preventing you from getting wet and losing body heat as a result. You're still in frigid temperatures. And you're still in. I would imagine they're still wearing some sort of possible long underwear or something that's not going to break through, because you've got to be totally sealed. One little bubble, and you're getting soaked in seconds. The pressure, especially at 30 feet, I mean, that's not deep for like a trained diver, but it's enough pressure on you that if there's a hole in that outfit, you're wet.
Yeah, because it's 30 feet is the cutoff, isn't it? Isn't every 30 feet you're supposed to stop on your ascent?
I don't remember anymore.
I think it was. It's been so long. And I was never a diver. I was the I was the rope guy. I was a shore paramedic. So the only technical rescue capability I ever had was I was a toxicology medic, a hazardous materials medic.
So here you go. This is the type of mask that they have now.
Okay.
Where just with the rebreather, not the rebreather, the regulator. That's not showing it. Here you go.
And yeah, and it's dark down there. So that was I didn't want to dive. I didn't want to do confined space. Neither one.
So there's your underwater MP3 player. That's not what I'm looking for.
That's interesting.
That's a video. But see, that's so that full face mask is, if you've seen that there's a full face mask snorkel. There's
like our firefighters wear.
Yeah, but there's a snorkel that comes at the top, and you go recreational snorkeling, and it's all fun and whatever. They're seeing a lot of snorkelers black out because when they exhale into that mask, and the CO2 doesn't escape the mask, and they breathe it back in.
Oh, okay.
So this is a different system where it's going to let you, once you breathe out, it actually goes out.
Escapes the system.
And there you go. For a mere $1,700, you can have a mask with a telephone in it. Allows communication between scuba divers. Low volume design makes for easy clearing. High strength polycarbonate fiber. So the lens, valve, balance downstream demand, second stage. Yeah, they're actually on a type of phone system.
Okay.
And this is for up at the surface. I see that's the cable.
Oh, okay. Okay, like I've seen them on TV. Okay.
That's a closed circuit cable that that connects to the diver.
And you make a point there with that. So we're looking at dispatch was 8:50 p.m. Washington D.C. time. 9:15 they're getting the first diver from Washington D.C. into the water. We've talked about how you've got to get them there, but for that one diver, for a night dive, cold dive, he has to have a team.
Yeah.
He's got to have somebody to talk to him. He's got to have it. So those poor souls, really, I mean, the odds were staggered against them, even with saying, it took them 25 minutes to get the first person from DC rescue. What'd they say? Rescue 1, I think, in the water. That's fast. This isn't something you just, okay, we're gonna call in a helicopter. They're gonna drop a guy in the water. It's not that kind of thing. Not even the Coast Guard can do that. They got to have the specialty team. It takes a team. For that one guy, there's probably 3 guys, I would guess. I wonder if, now we saw this in Baltimore when that barge hit the bridge. I wonder how much faster they can deploy drones now. I mean, I don't. Well, I mean, but that is so. But is that? I guess that would be more of a recovery than a rescue. So what happens is after a certain period of time, and as a paramedic, we were always trained you're not dead until you're warm and dead in a water incident. So, but there's a certain period of time that the body can no longer tolerate that frigid water or no oxygen. So you have to switch from a rescue to a recovery. So I would assume the drones would come in the recovery stage.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
Are you talking about like submersible drones?
Yes. Yeah. Well, they already have 3 helicopters up above, so they got plenty of light now. So no, the submersible is what I'm talking about. So I would assume that would probably be more of the recovery type operation.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's what they're wearing.
And do you know how many people for one diver there are? There's at least one guy to communicate with. There's got to be others.
Yeah. So there's going to be spotters. There's going to be people on the boat that are still commanding the boat. And there's going to be like a dive buddy that's going to be assigned directly to the diver. For something like this, for a hazardous type, much more hazardous type of situation like this. And like I said, they're going to be tethered. So that diver's going to be wearing a harness. And if they lose communication, it's that person on the surface that's going to have the final say. If they lose communication, they're going to yank on that rope and they're not going to stop until that diver's at the surface.
Yeah.
And
So
in
for
fact, I would guess they're even on like a wheel. You know, like when you roll up a fire hose.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not worried about your dive buddy on the surface getting cold. You know, he just pushes a button and that starts cranking and up you go.
Yeah. Would make sense. Because once again, you got adrenaline, you got all kinds of, and that's equipment they have to set up. Because the rescue probably had to bring it to the boat, the specialty equipment, because the boats aren't big enough to carry all of that equipment. It has to come on the big fire truck, the big rescue truck. Man.
Yeah, I would present this. I don't know, but I would guess they've got their own dedicated vehicle. That if they need
dive team,
yeah,
they probably do. Even our department, we didn't have any big dive team, but we had a truck with like a trailer. But the heavy rescue, the big rescue truck would still respond. Even with our hazmat team, as big as that damn truck was, we still had a truck and a trailer that brought more stuff with it. You know, because you can never have enough tools on the scene. And because you're going to get into recovery mode, but then you're going to have to start talking about specialty equipment to cut pieces up to bring things to the surface. And that's specialty equipment. I'm going to jump forward a little bit. Let's see if we have anything.
20, are you on scene with 21?
DC Fire Battalion Chief 6 to Metropolitan, Washington.
Battalion Chief 6, go ahead, Fort Potomac River.
Yes, I'm responding to National Airport location to be a representative for our casualty collection area.
I'll be right back on the.
It's a casualty collection area. So that goes back to the police department side of what you said. They're going to set up basically a morgue.
Yeah. 64 people on the plane, 3 in the helicopter.
Hmm.
Command 376.
Command, go ahead for about 376.
Yeah, imagine this.
River branch operating on
The airport CEO says there were people at the airport who were there to pick up loved ones.
Oh, man. Yeah, they were incoming. Oh, man. I hadn't thought about those people. Wow. We're going to start, before long, start seeing faces. You know?
Yeah.
It's getting that time of the story.
So now they're saying Reagan Airport will be closed until at least 11 a.m. Thursday.
I would think it'll be longer
That was
than that.
12 minutes ago.
Yeah, I would think longer than that. Maybe a runway will be closed. I don't know. Man.
River Branch should be on 3, Lima, correct.
All right, River Branch, code 376.
376, this is River Branch, 502, go.
All right, just want to update you on the plan. We've got about 6 DOEs on board the Metro PD boat. We're working on body recovery, but the ones that are located inside.
Mr. Positive, at it again.
We're working with Metro
we're going to continue our grid search. I'll touch base with MPD doing guide operation. And we have 2 victims on our vessel. Do you have the ability to take our victims as well, or should we make it to the North Boat House to clear?
Okay, go ahead with what you were saying. Sorry.
That's okay. But did I? Trump. The airplane was on a perfect and routine line to approach the airport. No, it wasn't, or it wouldn't have switched. It wouldn't have switched runways.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Yeah. But he's right. It could have been prevented. It should have been, but it's going to come down to operator, or not operator, but human error.
This is not the type of statement he needs to be making now.
I agree with you. Shut up.
Yeah, not good at all. Well, come on.
No. Hush. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. I mean, we still don't know what happened with the F-35 that dumped in Anchorage, and that was 3 days ago. That was one plane. That was the pilot punched. You know, no.
I didn't hear about that. What's that?
Yeah, an F-35. I don't know if it was on a training mission or, I mean, it was on some kind of mission in Alaska, and the plane went into what do they call it? A dead spin, where it's just pretty much it's flat spinning towards the ground, and he couldn't get control of the stick, and so he punched, which he should have, but you know, we don't know what caused that. I mean, a bird could have went in the engine. He could have ran out of fuel. Hell, we don't know. You got to investigate it. You know. I mean, didn't they just discover that the Korean plane from like 2 weeks ago had DNA inside of it from inside of one of the jets from birds? I mean, I find it fascinating how they could find that in that burned mess, but
no. FBI Washington Field Office dive team is assisting in efforts to locate victims of Wednesday's plane helicopter collision in the Potomac.
Yeah, like we said, no matter what agency you're gonna go. You're a police officer, you're a fireman, whatever, you're gonna go. You're gonna go help. And there's a lot of resources up there. So, well, we have been on the air for 2 hours. I mean, I can continue to play the the scanner traffic, but
I've got to get up to prep for my own show.
Yeah, it's not going to give us any more news than what we don't already know. Unfortunately, there's been a great loss of life. It's going to affect people across the country. You know, we're going to start waking up on the morning news and seeing faces of the people.
Yeah.
So, thank you for allowing me to come on your station. I have no idea how many people are watching on our YouTube my YouTube page. But this is the kind of thing I want to start doing. Ross and I are discussing, we're going to do a handoff once I get back to Atlanta. He ends at about 12:50-ish, and I'm going to start somewhere around 1-ish, and we're going to do a little handoff, and then I'm going to go into the Sportcat Gloomy Gazette, where mine won't be politics for all you Ross listeners. I mean, yeah, there'll be the smart ass comments. Ross is never going to get me away from that. I poke them all. I'm like a night's shit. One of the guys that does talk radio at night. I'm going to make fun of every damn one of them. But this is not the time to make fun of any of them. And this is a time that we need to let the professionals get out there and do their job. So
yeah, and
figure it out from there.
Tell the orange one to go golfing.
No, he doesn't need to go golfing tomorrow. That would be an even worse look. He needs to.
He just needs to shut the hell up.
Yeah, he needs to be presidential tomorrow and go see the families that were there waiting for one. That would probably be a good idea. And then we have to start getting answers as to why the hell this happened. I mean, I suspect that it was preventable, but I don't like to second guess anyone, but I'm going to guess that it's going to come down to just a tragedy of human error. So they were on 2 unavoidable collision courses, it looks like. So Ross, thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
I appreciate you for coming on, and you gave an excellent point of view on things, law enforcement, Secret Service, and obviously you and I are both from DC. So I appreciate you coming on, and I will talk at you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. I'll see you again.
All right,
See you,
everybody.
Good night.
Everybody, I appreciate you for tuning in. We're going to end the show for the night because I really don't think there's going to be much more news that we can get out of this. So you will see me again on the Pair or Normal Guys next Wednesday night. We got a great show lined up. I have an author and actually, I believe it's a police officer, Ross. So you might want to tune that in. So check that out next Wednesday night. And until then, everybody, try and have a good evening and say your prayers for all the souls that were lost in Washington, D.C. today.
Level 138 is on.